The day the aliens came was just like any other. The sky was blue, and people went about their daily lives. But everything changed when the huge spaceship appeared over New York City. At first, people thought it was a joke or a movie stunt. But when the ship started broadcasting a message in every language on Earth, everyone knew it was real. The aliens had come. World leaders quickly gathered at the United Nations. They were scared but tried to look brave. The alien ship sent down a small shuttle, and out came the first extraterrestrials humans had ever seen. The aliens were tall, about 8 feet high. They had blue skin and large almond-shaped eyes. Their heads were big, and they had long, thin arms and legs. They looked nothing like the little green men from old movies. As the aliens walked towards the UN building, people watched in awe. Some were excited, others afraid. The aliens moved with grace, their steps light and careful. Inside the UN, the world's most important people waited. The room was silent as the aliens entered. One alien stepped forward. It spoke in perfect English, its voice soft and musical. "Greetings, people of Earth. We come in peace. We are the Zarkoni, travelers from a distant star. We wish to welcome you to the galactic community." The human leaders looked at each other, stunned. After a moment, the UN Secretary-General stood up. His voice shook a little as he spoke. "Welcome to Earth. We are honored by your visit. We have many questions." The alien nodded. "Of course, we will answer all we can. But first, may we ask about your species? We have observed your planet for some time, but there is much we do not understand." The humans were surprised. These advanced beings, who could travel across stars, didn't understand them. It seemed strange. Over the next few hours, the aliens asked many questions. They wanted to know about human history, culture, and technology. The human leaders answered as best they could, but they felt like they were talking to teachers, not equals. The aliens seemed most interested in human bodies. They asked about human strength, speed, and senses. When the humans answered, the aliens looked at each other in a way that seemed disappointed. One alien spoke up. "Forgive us, but we find your physical abilities lacking. How have you survived and built civilizations with such limitations?" The room went quiet. The human leaders felt insulted, but they tried not to show it. The Secretary-General cleared his throat. "We may not be the strongest or fastest, but we are clever. We use our minds to overcome challenges. We build tools and machines to do what our bodies cannot." The aliens nodded, but they didn't look impressed. They talked among themselves in their own language, which sounded like music and wind chimes. Finally, the lead alien turned back to the humans. "We understand. You have done well, considering your limitations. We look forward to helping you join galactic society. With our guidance, perhaps you can overcome your shortcomings." The human leaders didn't know how to respond. They were grateful for the offer of help, but also felt looked down upon. It was a strange mix of excitement and insult. As the meeting ended, the aliens prepared to leave. They'd promised to return soon with more of their people to start working with humans. As they walked out, their tall forms towering over the humans, many people felt small and weak for the first time. That night, as news of the alien visit spread around the world, people everywhere had mixed feelings. They were thrilled to know they weren't alone in the universe, but they also felt judged and found wanting. Little did the aliens know, they had awakened something in humanity, a desire to prove themselves, to show these advanced beings that humans were more than their physical bodies. The aliens thought they were dealing with a simple, weak species, but they were about to learn that when it comes to humans, looks can be deceiving. As the alien ship left Earth's atmosphere, it carried with it the first seeds of a great change. Humanity's journey from being seen as tiny and weak to becoming a force that would shock the galaxy had just begun. 5 years passed since the aliens first came to Earth. The world had changed a lot. Tall, shiny buildings called integration centers now stood in every major city. These were places where humans and aliens worked together. At first, people were excited to learn from the aliens. The Zarkoni shared some of their technology, helping humans cure diseases and clean up the environment. But as time went on, many humans started to feel frustrated. The aliens treated humans like children. They were always polite, but they never let humans do anything important. In space stations and on other planets, humans were given simple jobs like cleaning or carrying things. The aliens said humans weren't ready for more difficult work. One day, a young woman named Sarah was working in an integration center in London. She was smart and had studied hard to be there, but her job was just to bring coffee to the aliens and human scientists. As Sarah walked into a meeting room with a tray of drinks, she heard the aliens talking. They didn't know she could understand their language. She had secretly learned it by listening carefully for months. "These humans are so slow to learn," one alien said. "I thought they would have made more progress by now." Another alien nodded. "Yes, it's disappointing. Perhaps we overestimated their potential. They're just so fragile." Sarah felt angry, but she kept quiet. She put down the drinks and left the room. As she walked down the hallway, she made a decision. It was time for humans to prove themselves. That night, Sarah met with a group of her friends. They were all young scientists and engineers who felt the same way she did. They talked about how to show the aliens what humans could really do. "We need to build something amazing," said Tom, a computer expert, "something the aliens haven't thought of." "But how?" asked Maria, a biologist. "They watch everything we do. We can't use their labs without them knowing." Sarah smiled. "We'll do it in secret. My grandfather has an old barn on his farm. We can work there at night." For the next 6 months, Sarah and her friends worked hard. During the day, they did their normal jobs at the integration center. At night, they snuck out to the old barn. They built a new kind of spaceship. It was small, but very fast. It used ideas from Earth animals, like how sharks swim and birds fly. The aliens had never thought to use nature this way. Finally, the ship was ready. Sarah and her friends knew they had to show it to the world in a big way. They decided to enter the yearly space race the aliens held. The space race was a contest to fly from Earth to Mars. The aliens always won because their ships were the fastest. Human ships were allowed to join, but they always came last. On the day of the race, Sarah and Tom snuck their ship to the starting line. The aliens laughed when they saw the small human ship. They didn't think it was a real challenger. But when the race started, everyone was shocked. The little human ship shot forward, faster than any alien ship. It moved like a living thing, diving and swooping through space. Sarah and Tom reached Mars in half the time of the best alien ship. When they landed, the aliens couldn't believe it. How could these fragile humans build something so advanced? News of the human victory spread quickly across Earth and the galaxy. For the first time, the aliens looked at humans with respect and a little fear. That night, as Sarah and her friends celebrated, they knew things would be different from now on. Humans had shown they could do amazing things. They had taken the first step towards becoming equals in the galactic community. But this was just the beginning. Humans still had a long way to go to prove themselves, and the aliens were starting to wonder, what other surprises did these strange Earth creatures have in store? After the space race, things changed quickly. The aliens started to pay more attention to humans. They were curious about how Sarah and her friends had built such a fast ship. But they were also worried. What else could humans do? The Zarkoni decided to learn more about Earth. They wanted to understand where humans came from. So they started a big project to study Earth's history. One day, a team of alien and human scientists went to Africa. They were looking for old bones and tools. They wanted to learn about early humans. The team leader was an alien named Zix. He was tall and blue like all Zarkoni, but he had kind eyes. With him was a human scientist named Dr. Emma Chen. Emma was excited to work with the aliens and show them how clever humans could be. As they dug in the hot sun, Emma told Zix about human evolution. She explained how humans had changed over millions of years. Zix listened, but he didn't seem very impressed. "Your species is so young," Zix said. "The Zarkoni have been around for billions of years. We've changed very little in that time." Emma nodded, but she felt a little angry. She knew humans had come a long way in a short time. She wished she could show Zix how special it was. On the third day of digging, they found something amazing. It was a small skull, about the size of an orange. Emma got very excited when she saw it. "This is incredible," she said. "This could be one of our earliest ancestors." Zix looked confused. "But it's so small," he said. "How could this be related to humans?" Emma carefully picked up the skull. She explained that millions of years ago, human ancestors were much smaller. They looked more like apes than people. Zix still didn't understand. "But how did you become you?" he asked, waving at Emma. Emma smiled. She knew this was her chance to show how special humans were. She asked Zix to bring her a computer. Then she started to show him pictures of different human ancestors. She showed Zix how humans had changed over time, how they had grown bigger brains and learned to walk on two legs, how they had made tools and learned to use fire. As Zix watched, his big eyes got even bigger. He had never seen a species change so much, so fast. In just a few million years, humans had gone from small, hairy creatures to builders of cities and spaceships. "This is amazing," Zix said. For the first time, he sounded truly impressed. "No wonder you were able to build that fast ship. Your whole history is about changing and adapting quickly." Emma nodded. She felt proud of her species. "We've had to be clever and adaptable to survive," she said. "It's part of who we are." Zix looked at the small skull again. Then he looked at Emma. He seemed to be thinking hard. "I think we have underestimated humans," he said finally. "You are not just your bodies. You are the story of how you became who you are." Emma felt happy. Finally, the aliens were starting to understand. But then Zix said something that made her worry. "We must tell the others about this," he said. "The Zarkoni need to know what humans are capable of." As they packed up the skull to take back to the lab, Emma wondered what would happen next. Would the aliens be impressed by human history, or would they be scared of what humans might become in the future? That night, as the team sat around a campfire, the mood was different. The aliens looked at the humans with new eyes. They asked questions about Earth's history and how humans had survived so many challenges. Emma went to bed feeling hopeful, but she also felt a little nervous. The aliens now knew that humans were more than they seemed. What would they do with this knowledge? As she fell asleep, Emma didn't know that this discovery was just the beginning. The real shocks were yet to come. News of the discovery in Africa spread fast. Soon, aliens from all over the galaxy wanted to learn about human history. They came to Earth in big groups, eager to see where humans came from. The Zarkoni built a huge museum in New York City. They filled it with bones, tools, and pictures showing how humans had changed over time. People from Earth and other planets came to see it every day. One of these visitors was a young alien named Klex. He was a student from a faraway planet. Klex had always been told that humans were weak and simple, but as he walked through the museum, he started to think differently. Klex stopped in front of a big screen. It showed a video of how Earth had changed over millions of years. He watched as continents moved and oceans formed. He saw ice ages come and go, and through it all, he saw how human ancestors survived and changed. "Amazing," Klex whispered. "They lived through all of that." Next to him, an old human man chuckled. "That's right, young fella," he said. "We're tougher than we look." The old man introduced himself as George. He was a retired teacher who now worked at the museum. George offered to show Klex around, and the young alien happily agreed. As they walked, George told stories about human history. He talked about how early humans had hunted mammoth with just spears. He explained how they had survived ice ages by making warm clothes and finding shelter in caves. Klex was fascinated. But how did they think of these things? He asked. How did they know what to do? George smiled. That's the beauty of it, he said. They didn't know. They had to figure it out. Humans have always been good at solving problems and adapting to new situations. They stopped in front of a display about human tools. It showed how tools had changed from simple stone axes to complex computers. Klex stared at it for a long time. This is incredible, he said. On my planet, we've used the same tools for thousands of years. We never thought to change them. George nodded. Humans are always looking for ways to make things better, he said. It's in our nature to question, to experiment, to improve. As they continued through the museum, Klex learned more and more. He saw how humans had spread across the Earth, adapting to different climates and environments. He learned about great human thinkers, artists, and inventors. By the time they reached the end of the tour, Klex was quiet. He seemed to be thinking hard. What's on your mind, young fella? George asked. Klex looked up at him. I think I understand now, he said. Humans aren't weak. You're flexible. You change and grow. That's your strength. George smiled. That's right, he said. We may not be the strongest or the fastest, but we never stop trying to be better. As Klex left the museum, he felt confused but excited. Everything he had been taught about humans was wrong. They weren't simple creatures. They were complex, always changing, always growing. That night, Klex sent a message to his friends back home. He told them about everything he had learned. Humans are not what we thought, he wrote. They are fascinating, and maybe a little scary. Meanwhile, in a secret meeting room high above the city, a group of alien leaders gathered. They had been watching the museum closely. They had seen how visitors like Klex reacted to human history. This is becoming a problem. One leader said, other species are starting to admire humans. They're asking questions we don't want to answer. Another leader nodded. We need to do something, he said. Humans are becoming too popular, too respected. It could upset the balance of power in the galaxy. As the meeting went on, the alien leaders made a decision. They had to find a way to keep humans in their place, but they didn't know that their plans would soon face a challenge they never expected. While the alien leaders were making their secret plans, something big was happening on Earth. A team of human and alien scientists were working together in a lab in Tokyo. They were studying human DNA, trying to understand how humans had changed so much over time. The team leader was Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant human geneticist. She had been working for months with her alien partner, Zorn, to unlock the secrets of human evolution. One day, as Yuki was looking at some test results, she noticed something strange. There was a part of human DNA that didn't make sense. It looked like it had been changed on purpose, a long time ago. Zorn, come look at this, Yuki called out. The tall blue alien came over and looked at her screen. That's odd, Zorn said, his big eyes blinking rapidly. I've never seen anything like that before. Yuki and Zorn worked late into the night, trying to understand what they had found. As the sun came up the next morning, they made an amazing discovery. The strange part of human DNA was like a key. It could unlock hidden abilities in the human body and mind. These abilities had been sleeping for thousands of years, waiting to be woken up. This is incredible, Yuki said, her eyes wide with excitement. If we can activate this part of our DNA, humans could become something more. Zorn looked worried. But who put this here? He asked. And why? Before they could discuss it more, there was a loud noise outside. They looked out the window and saw a group of alien ships landing near the lab. What's going on? Yuki asked, feeling scared. Zorn's face turned a darker shade of blue. I think they're here for us, he said quietly. Suddenly, The door burst open. A group of alien soldiers rushed in, led by one of the alien leaders Yuki had seen on TV. "Stop what you're doing," the leader said. "This research is now under our control." Yuki stood up, feeling angry. "You can't do this," she said. "This is our lab, our work." The alien leader looked at her coldly. "We can, and we will," he said. "Humans are becoming too powerful. We can't let you unlock these abilities." As the soldiers started to take away their computers and notes, Yuki felt helpless. All their hard work was being stolen. But then she noticed Zorn doing something strange. He was quickly typing on a small device, hidden from the other aliens. "What are you doing?" Yuki whispered. Zorn winked at her. "Sending our discovery to every lab on Earth," he said quietly. "They can take our work, but they can't stop the information from spreading." Yuki felt a surge of hope. Even as they were led out of the lab, she knew their discovery was safe. Over the next few days, news of the discovery spread around the world. Scientists everywhere started working on unlocking the hidden part of human DNA. The alien leaders tried to stop it, but it was too late. The secret was out. People all over Earth were excited. They talked about what new abilities humans might gain. Would they be stronger? Smarter? Would they live longer? But not everyone was happy. Some humans were scared of changing, and the aliens were definitely worried. What if humans become more powerful than us? They asked each other. What if they take over the galaxy? As the days passed, tension grew between humans and aliens. The Zarkoni tried to slow down human research, but they couldn't stop it completely. Yuki and Zorn, now heroes to many humans, went into hiding. They continued their work in secret, helped by people all over the world. Everyone could feel that something big was about to happen. Humans were on the edge of a huge change, but no one knew exactly what that change would be, or what it would mean for the future of the galaxy. As scientists worked day and night to unlock the secret in human DNA, the whole world held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Weeks passed, and the world was on edge. Scientists everywhere were working hard to unlock the secret in human DNA. People waited eagerly for news, wondering what new abilities humans might gain. Then one sunny morning, it happened. The first human successfully activated the hidden part of their DNA. Her name was Maria Lopez, a college student from Brazil. She had volunteered for a research study at her university. When the scientists turned on the special machine they had built, Maria felt a strange tingling all over her body. Suddenly, Maria could do amazing things. She could lift heavy objects as if they were light as feathers. She could run faster than any human had ever run before. And most surprisingly, she could understand and speak any language she heard, even alien languages she had never learned. News of Maria's transformation spread quickly. Soon, more and more humans were activating their hidden abilities. Each person seemed to get different powers. Some became super smart, able to solve complex problems in seconds. Others could heal injuries just by touching them. A few even developed the ability to move objects with their minds. The aliens were shocked. They had never seen a species change so quickly. Some aliens were amazed and excited. Others were scared. Zix, the kind alien scientist who had worked in Africa, tried to calm everyone down. "This is just another step in human evolution," he said on a global broadcast. "We should not be afraid, but curious and supportive." But many alien leaders didn't agree. They saw humans as a threat now. They started to make plans to leave Earth, and maybe even the whole solar system. Meanwhile, humans were exploring their new abilities. In cities around the world, people with healing powers set up clinics to help the sick. Those with super strength helped build houses and roads faster than ever before. The super smart humans worked on solving big problems like climate change and hunger. But not everything was perfect. Some humans used their new powers to do bad things. They stole or hurt others. This made many people, both humans and aliens, worry about the future. As the changes spread, an unexpected thing happened. Humans started to work together more. People from different countries and cultures who had fought for years now joined forces to help each other control and use their new abilities. One day, a group of human leaders met with the Alien Council. The human spokesperson was Dr. Emma Chen, the scientist who had made the first big discovery in Africa. "We understand your fears," Emma said to the aliens, "but we want you to know that we don't plan to take over or hurt anyone. We want to use our new abilities to help make the galaxy a better place for everyone." The aliens listened carefully. Some nodded, but others still looked unsure. Then a young alien stepped forward. It was Klex, the student who had visited the museum in New York. "I think we should trust them," he said. "Humans have shown us again and again that they can change and grow in amazing ways. Maybe it's time for us to change too." His words seemed to have an effect. The alien leaders agreed to stay and work with humans, at least for now. As the meeting ended, Emma felt hopeful. She knew there would be challenges ahead, but she believed humans and aliens could learn to live and work together. That night, as Emma looked up at the stars, she thought about how far humans had come. From small, weak creatures to beings with incredible powers. But she knew the most important change wasn't in their bodies or minds. It was in their hearts. Humans had learned to work together, to use their strengths to help others. As she watched a group of human and alien children playing together in a nearby park, Emma smiled. The future might be uncertain, but it was full of possibilities. And humans, with their endless ability to adapt and grow, were ready for whatever came next. 5 years had passed since humans first unlocked their hidden abilities. The world had changed in ways no one could have imagined. On a bright morning, a huge spaceship took off from Earth. It was the first human-built ship designed to explore deep space. The crew was a mix of humans and aliens working together to push the boundaries of space exploration. As the ship rose into the sky, people all over Earth watched and cheered. Among the crowd was Sarah, the young woman who had built the first fast human spaceship. She stood with her alien friend Six, both of them smiling proudly. "I never thought I'd see this day," Six said, his blue skin shimmering in the sunlight. "Humans and Zarkoni exploring the stars together." Sarah nodded. "We've come a long way," she said. "Both of our species have learned so much." Indeed, the last 5 years have been full of changes and challenges. At first, there had been fear and conflict. Some aliens had tried to leave Earth, worried about the newly powerful humans. Some humans had wanted to use their abilities to take control. But in the end, cooler heads had won out. Humans had shown that they could use their new powers responsibly. They had solved many of Earth's big problems. Diseases were cured, hunger was ended, and the environment was cleaned up. The aliens, seeing this, had decided to stay. They shared more of their advanced technology, and together with humans, made amazing discoveries. Now, humans were respected members of the galactic community. Other alien species, hearing about Earth's remarkable story, came to visit. They were curious about the planet where life had changed so quickly. As Sarah and Six watched the spaceship disappear into the blue sky, they remembered how it all started. The tiny skull found in Africa, the discovery of the hidden DNA, and the first human to unlock new abilities. "You know," Sarah said, "I think the aliens' first mistake was thinking we were weak because we were small and young." Zix laughed. "You're right," he said. "We didn't understand that being young and changing quickly could be a strength." They turned and walked towards the New Earth Zarkoni Science Center. Inside, humans and aliens worked side by side, studying everything from ancient history to future technology. In one room, Dr. Emma Chen was teaching a class of young humans and aliens. On a big screen, she showed pictures of human ancestors, from tiny ape-like creatures to modern humans. "Remember," she said to her students, "every living thing has the potential to change and grow. Never underestimate someone because they seem small or weak. They might surprise you. The students nodded, human and alien children sitting together, learning from each other. Outside the science center, the city was busy. Flying cars zipped between tall buildings. In the parks, people used their abilities to create beautiful art or help plants grow. Humans with healing powers worked in hospitals alongside alien doctors, curing diseases that once seemed hopeless. As the day ended, Sarah stood on a hill overlooking the city. She thought about how much had changed. Humans had gone from being seen as weak and unimportant to becoming a vital part of the galaxy. But Sarah knew the journey wasn't over. There were still problems to solve, new things to discover. Humans would keep changing, keep growing. And now, they had friends from across the stars to join them on their adventures. As the first stars appeared in the evening sky, Sarah made a wish. She wished for a future where all species, no matter how different, could work together and learn from each other. A future where being small or young or different wasn't a weakness, but a chance to become something amazing. With a smile, Sarah turned and walked back to the city. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and new chances to show the galaxy what humans could do. The story of humanity, from tiny creatures to galactic explorers, was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning.